Being in a foreign country does not mean that a Muslim should quit all Islamic rituals, including fasting in Ramadan. To know more about activities of Indonesian Muslims staying or living abroad, we will talk with a number of Indonesian diaspora. Currently, we are connected via Zoom with Mumtaz Cikal Ramadan, diaspora in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Andismu Rijal Fahmi in Copenhagen, Denmark. Hello, guys. How do you do? Mumtaz and Andismu?
Hello,
Hello,
good,
it's
sir.
good here. Thank you.
Well, the interesting fact that is the duration of fasting in Southeast Asia and Europe is different. In Southeast Asia, is average around 14 hours, while in Europe it can be around 18 to 20 for Anismu. But before we talk about that, I want to know, is this your first time fasting abroad for Mumtaz and Andismu? Mumtaz first.
Uh,
Is this your first time fasting abroad?
yeah. So this is my first time. Not actually my first time, but actually, I've been in Malaysia for this is my third year in Malaysia. So because I'm a student in Malaysia, actually the tradition is not really that different in Indonesia, like
Yeah.
how we wake up for sahur and then we have iftar with other people and like that. Yeah. So I feel like we're being a family here.
That's right. And how about Andismu? We said before that there's a duration difference between Southeast Asia and Europe. How is it there? Is this your first time or not?
Yes, it is my first time, and yeah, it is slightly longer because it's spring and it's getting closer to summer, which the day duration is will be longer even.
So how was it? Did you fast smoothly?
Well, yes, the fasting is not a problem so far, but it is more to the vibe because here in Denmark and in Europe, Ramadan vibe is not really like Indonesia because people just do as usual, and it's like there is no Ramadan here. People just eat and drink and everything. So, yeah, it is that is the difference. But so far so good.
Yeah, it's an interesting fact that Mumtaz is in Malaysia. He said that it's not quite different in Malaysia and Indonesia. But please tell us more about how do you do your tarawih prayers there, or sahur or iftar? Was it like in Malaysia, Mumtaz?
Okay, so basically, like what's inclusive about in Malaysia? So usually, one of my favorite tradition in Malaysia is during the Tarawih or in the masjid or the mosque, they usually invite some of the imams that are already memorized like the whole Quran. So maybe their target was already making the khatam for the entire month of Ramadan. And then
Okay.
there was this one another tradition. Its name is more. So we don't have that in Indonesia. More is like the food that they serve after the Tarawih. So in Indonesia, we call it makanan after tarawih. So the food after tarawih, they call it more. So it's very pleasant to see here, but maybe something that is I haven't seen in Malaysia yet because the authenticity in Indonesia, we usually wake up people for sahur like very aggressively. The children are very excited to wake up people for sahur, but in Malaysia, it doesn't really show like that because it's really really formal and it has tons of different religions here and ethnicities.
Oh, so that's quite different. That's the quite difference between Malaysia and Indonesia, yeah? And how about Andisbu? Malaysia is quite different from Indonesia. And how's Denmark? How do you find
Well,
how do you find
yes,
like the Tarawih
we
prayers?
okay. Yeah, well, people it's not like there is no difference between Ramadan and not in daily basis. So if you want to do Tarawih prayers, we need to go to some mosque that mostly in city centers. So it is quite far from my house or my campus to do that. So it is quite an effort to go there. And unlike Indonesia, that you have kind of a loud azan
Yeah.
or recitation of Quran, so there is no kind of that things in Denmark. So in mosque, we can only hear recitation of Quran or Azan inside the mosque, not outside of it. So it is silent outside.
How far is the mosque from your place, Arismu?
Well, if you talk about like kind of significantly big mosque, it is more like 10 kilometers, which is an hour from my house. or 30 minutes to an hour. It depends on the traffic. Yeah.
So you go there for Taraweh?
Well, yes, of course, not really every day because yeah, yeah, because there is no adjustment of what to call it, daily college or
Okay,
work here. So
yeah.
people do not. There is no adjustment of schedule, so I need to manage sometimes on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so challenging for you, I guess. And how about
Well,
the
yes, but exciting.
and how about the locals? Uh, I guess for Mumtaz in Malaysia, the locals and surrounding environments or the local government are maybe supportive for you performing religious ritual. Uh, is it like that, Mumtaz?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Because like in Malaysia, we actually have like even though we have tons of other religions, one Islam as a religion in Malaysia is already normal to be celebrated in Malaysia. Like we actually have like the sahur, like how I say about the more, and even the iftar, and we can see like tons and tons of bazaar Ramadan, just like in Indonesia, is being held in Malaysia and everywhere.
Mm.
So maybe like besides from other brother Ismu Fahmi in Denmark, I think that in Malaysia it's really suitable for like Indonesians to find their favorite food because even some of the Indonesians that actually live in Malaysia, they also sell some kind of traditional food from Indonesia. So it doesn't. So we kind of. So if we miss those Indonesian foods, we know where to go. Yeah, it's really authentic in my opinion. Perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go back to Ismu. How do you do sahur and iftar there?
Well, yes, for I cook on daily basis because it is hard to find Indonesian food here. But there are few mosques that provide free iftar as well. But it is more to Southern Asian cuisine, so it is more like Indianese cuisines or Pakistanis, not really Indonesian. So if you really want Indonesian food or really miss it, you need to cook it by yourself.
Well, that's something that will make you even better cook when you get here, when you get back here.
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah.
What?
I'm becoming a great cooker now.
Good for you. And what's your favorite dish? Ismu, what's your favorite dish in Denmark for sahur and iftar?
Well, it is something simple to cook, like just chicken or egg, and because we don't have really much time to cook, so it is just something for simple for daily basis. Mhm.
Oh, that's good. So, Mumtaz, is there something that you haven't tell us, like the difference in Malaysia and Indonesia, beside like the not loud sahur calling or something? There's something special there.
In my opinion, like we actually have really many similar traditions, like the mudik or pulang kampung,
Hmm.
like how we say it. But
Yeah.
for me, in my opinion, the authenticity in Malaysia is they really have a lot of good foods here. So I think so. You should try it sometime when you come to Malaysia. They have the roti canai, the nasi lemak, and etc. Where I think that maybe for us Indonesians that we are already normalized with Indonesian food, I think so. There are still more food that we haven't tried yet. But overall, I think the most difference between Malaysia and Indonesia is Indonesia is more freely expressive towards the Ramadan itself. They make the gebrakan or the aggressive sounds during sahur.
Hmm.
But in Malaysia, they still think maybe a little strict about that because they also tolerate like other religions here by themselves.
I'm sure that Mumtaz hasn't fallen behind on his fasting, I guess. But I want to know for Ismu, because the time duration is long, have you done the fasting all of the days now?
Well, yes. I mean, for now it is not really long because
Hmm?
it's still early of spring. So it is 13 hours, but it will be 16 hours later in the last week of Ramadan. So I don't know what it will be like for the last week of Ramadan, but so far
Okay,
it is still good. Mhm.
okay. So it's good for you. Well, thank you very much, Mumtaz Cikal Ramadan from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Ismu Rijal Fahmi from Copenhagen, Denmark. I hope the fasting goes smoothly and you can cope with every challenges there. Have a good day.
Thank you very
Have a good day,
much. Have a
sir.
good day.